Time for a Soccer Down Here 1v1, and this one's kind of cool. One of the busiest people that I know. Literally, you turn, you see Christina. You turn again, you see Christina. You turn a third time, she's on basically every monitor that you can find, every channel that's out there. And I got to hang on to the tail of this comet for a little bit to kind of find out what's going on. And she adds a new hat to the LinkedIn profile. President of the Tampa Bay Sun FC in the USL Super League, Christina Unkel. Christina, thanks for hanging out for a 1v1.
John, of course, anytime for you. And the only hat I've not yet worn is a coaching hat. Don't think I'm going to add that to the repertoire.
Well, mentioning all of these different hats, the host of our European program actually gave me a question that I will wrap up our interview with.
Ooh, the intrigue.
Wearing multiple hats at one time. As the USL-S comes to the fore, I guess the first question I have to ask you is why and why now?
Yeah. The question is why not now, right? So I'm going to start there. Many of us who've been in women's professional soccer, I've been in women's, this is going to date me, about 17 years. Even when there was no women's pro soccer in the United States, which is when I'm not that old. I was born in 87. And yeah, believe it or not, there's been no women's pro soccer when I came out of college playing soccer. But, these past 15 to 17 years, many of us who've been here knew that women's pro soccer could succeed, that it was viable, it was a good business model, and could succeed here in the United States. Many of us and those prior to us championed that cause when it was a vision and as a visionary. And now you see the metrics of not just women's soccer, but women's sports, not just domestically in the United States, but around the world, having, incredible numbers when it comes to in-person and TV viewership. And it's not these one-off things. So the answer is why not now? Because now we have the metrics. All we are looking for is that final piece of those individuals, those corporate partners who see that this is what the people want. Give the people what they want. And that's where we're at.
You're looking at it, if you look at it strictly from a business sense, it's an underappreciated asset. And you sit there and you go, okay, we've really got to dive into this and get in now because we know that this is going to skyrocket and work its way forward from there. What's the response been like there in Tampa at the headquarters, people blowing up your phones? What's it been like ever since the announcement came that you were going to be a part of USL-S?
Yeah, so the reaction has been incredibly positive from the community in Tampa Bay in and of itself. Tampa Bay is a sports community. That was one of the reasons I said yes to this endeavor is one, yes, I'm passionate. I will run through the walls. I have seen pro women athletes not be treated as pro women athletes, and thankfully they are not being treated as pro women athletes. But most importantly, I knew I was entering into a community that has been looking, wanting, and needing a pro women's sports team. Soccer, we always say we're the first, but we're not the last here in the Tampa Bay area, right? I don't want WNBA here. I want hockey here. I want volleyball here. I want it all, okay? So let's just be ambitious we want women's professional sports in Tampa Bay. But we're going to go ahead and knock it off and tee it off. And the Tampa Bay sports franchises, from the Bucks to the Lightning to the Rays to the Rowdies, have been incredibly supportive in not just words, but also in actions. And then just to see that energy at the brand reveal, you're always wondering, we love it. We're passionate. I'm passionate. Does anyone else care? And thankfully, lots of people care, and quite a bit of it. And so that energy in our area, in our community, has been contagious in a positive way, right? If I should be using that word in our era nowadays, but it's been great excitement. And then you bring it over to the American, global side of our professional game. And, that's the realm I predominantly work in the TV side of it. And just to see how many people have responded positively. And I've been pleasantly surprised at how many people from the global side of the world that I know. I know a lot of people from the ref side, but from the football side of the world, non-ref side, let me put it that way, who have reached out as well, who are very, very interested and intrigued of what we're doing here in Tampa Bay and making a professional football club, not just for the domestic, but for the global market.
And looking at this now from a presidential standpoint, and I mean that by saying president, comma, Tampa Bay Sun, the president of everything. From a president's standpoint, what's it like to have all of this paper that's added now to the stacks of everything that you're doing on a daily basis?
This definitely was not on my bingo card for this year or anytime in the foreseeable future. Me having my soccer experience primarily on the referee side of it, it's been great to be able to see the different leagues, the different sides of this beautiful game. and to know, and maybe the legal and the business side of it. I tracked my soccer side, but there was also my professional career side, because my referee side never is a viable business model to live off of career wise, right? And it's just been really unique that all of those three different assets, from the business, the legal, and the soccer experience, all came together at this one point, and this one inflection point, for me to be able to do things that I am purpose driven, and I have the skills and talent set to be able to do so, and kind of lead the front staff in not just building a business, but at the same time building a professional club for that. So, all of these different stacks of paper. Still love doing TV. We'll still continue to do TV, and predominantly on CBS Sports there on the Golasso Network and such, and what we do. It allows me to continue to drive what has always been kind of part of my life that I never thought I could make a career out of. Ironically, has been able to make a career out of doing something I'm passionate and I believe for, and I believe in the power of sports and what it can do for communities and individuals.
Do you think of yourself as a role model in any way now that you've added this hat, whether it's about, chasing after dreams, doing things that you might sit there and say, well, yeah, you can't do that, but yeah, you can, those kinds of things. Do you think of yourself as a role model in any facet, or all of these facets that you're juggling right now?
Yeah, John, for the longest time, I try not to think of myself as a role model. I try not to, especially on the referee side. As a female ref, we just wanted to be known as refs, not female refs, right? I didn't want to be known as, first generation or Hispanic. I'm just a human, right? I kind of really took apart a lot of those different facets of what makes me uniquely me. And now when I look back at it, I do have regret on not really leaning in and embracing some of those tangible assets. And it wasn't until there was a moment where it was a see her, be her moment, where I had a young little boy and a young little girl saying, I didn't know Hispanic women could be attorneys. And that was like around the time period of 2017, 2018. And it was also coincidentally around the time period, or I think it was 2016, the time period I had my little daughter. And for me, it was important for me to get back to refereeing at the professional level, because there were some people who said, I had a daughter and I had a kid, and I'm never going to want to get back to the highest levels, or could I get back to the highest levels, because I decided to have a child. So that kind of knocked off the see her, be her component, of where I then realized how important it is still in this day and age, where for me, maybe because I'm first generation American, my parents believe in the American dream, that I didn't really think of all the institutional barriers that exist. I just kind of was a little bit bullish about it, in the sense of, saying, hey, I could do that and I will find the way to do that. That I realized there still is such a great need on see her, be her. And even recently, Kate Abdo did a piece about, she still, struggles with that concept. And she's probably one of the best in the world, male or female, but one of the best in the world on the commentary side. And, those resonate, those things that, those positions still need to be there, saying, you can be. And even I had a little bit of imposter syndrome when this role was presented. Like, can I be the president of a professional football club? And everyone's like, well, why not? And I'm like, well, I don't know, because I, never really thought about it. And then I don't really see many people, and now there is more, but, in my time period, I haven't seen many people serve as, women specifically serve as, not only at the decision table, but, leading organizations and professional sports teams, soccer, not soccer. So, I've now fully embraced it. I now accept it, and I accept it because it's not a power over, but it's a power to do really good things, and to hopefully enact all these Amazonian warriors and our future generational leaders. Because I do want to retire one time, sometime, eventually, and know that we are in good hands, and I could just finally go to a soccer game and watch it instead of looking at ticket prices, concession stand food, or the movement of the official on the field.
I was going to say, when you go to the Tampa Bay Sun website, there's a countdown clock. And I know that folks will sit there and say, yeah, the season's in 2024. It's over there. It's got a little while to go. But I hate to break it to folks, but that's going to be here before you know it. You mentioned some of those aspects. I know that individuals in front offices, when they're starting something from the ground up, there's always a to-do list. And I mean, it could be, it could be on your phone. You pull the stylus out. I just dated myself there. Pull the stylus out of your phone, write an idea
Waiting
down.
for that BlackBerry, John. Where's your BlackBerry?
Exactly. I got to.
We just lost everyone, by the way.
I got a flip phone. That's the Google search for the kids for today. I got a pink flip phone still here that's got phone numbers that I need. It could be the stylus. You write the notepad, you jam the stylus back in, you put it away. It could be on the fridge, at 2:30 in the morning, you sit there and I've got an idea, and you write it down there, and you go back to bed, and you realize when you go back up at 10 o'clock in the morning, what was I writing? Or is it on the big 4-by-6-foot white eraser, dry erase marker board that's got a bunch of arrows going from one place to the other, and you're going, yeah, we need to do this, this, and this. Where is your to-do list now at the Sun? And what do you think the next thing that you can cross off of that list is?
So I am the latter. I'm more of a visionary. And I call there's two types of people in my world, which are also known as architects and engineers. But in my world, I call them visionary and spreadsheets. And so I'm the visionary, and I am equipping a team of spreadsheet individuals. So I love whiteboards. Like, you should hear the many corporate partnerships I start discussions with. And I look at them and I go, let's just whiteboard this out. And everyone seems to be surprised. I'm like, let's be innovative. Let's be creative. Let's think of things. So yes, where my to-do list sits on actually 4 really major ones that you push. They are actually located on the other side of this building. And it's always a moving, changing, living, breathing kind of a to-do list. But, when we keep our values in front of us, and then we keep essentially the core components of what we need to do, right? Put an actual team on the field in time, right? Like, seems kind of vital. Creating creating for our stadium an environment that is pure entertainment and welcoming, and is a place that families can come and bring, it can make a night of it, right? That's like one of our other second core components. Like, what is our give back in our community, and branding and uniting our youth side of it and our pipeline component, right? That's another third kind of major component that we're doing. So while we play with those corporate partnerships and the individuals and stakeholders, right? And like I said, many have come to us, which is great. We're not in a position we're chasing. We're in a position of making sure we're brand aligning as well, with the right corporate partners. All of that stuff is coming together, and the pieces are falling. But one of the easiest, mark off, we got the name. If you would have talked to me about 2 weeks ago, I would have been grumpy. A month ago, I would have been grumpier, because I would have been able to tell you the name or the logo, which is Tampa Bay Sun FC. There's the beautiful logo. I'm obviously quite biased, but I do love our logo and our brands and our colors. And then I wasn't able to tell you the stadium. Today, I can tell you all of that. We're on the Riverside in the urban core area of Tampa Bay. Very walkable, incredible environment that for post game marches to the match over a mini bridge. Like, I got this huge vision in my mind. We have those things checked. The one thing that everyone's been asking me that I wasn't expecting, right? No one's asking about the first player signing yet. They know that's going to be in the springtime. Everyone's asking me at the moment is, what is our mascot going to be? And I'm like, so that is one of the items, is what is our mascot going to be? If anybody has suggestions, drop them in the comments section for me, please. It will not be a sun. No spoiler. If anyone's seen Jimmy,
no Partick Thistle sun with
no sun. Have you seen Jimmy Dean sausage commercials? Kudos to them, but I can't be associated with that for a pro soccer team. Sorry, I can't. So, but any other suggestions, please drop them in the comment box.
Yeah. A lot of us at SDH, we look at the Partick Thistle mascot that is like a sun that's kind of askew, and you're going, I don't know if that's the kind of sun that you want, but yeah, definitely know what you're hunting for there. But I also know that you're looking for a particular kind of individual to be a part of this franchise from the ground up. When I mention that kind of individual, whether they're day-to-day ops, whether it's a player to represent the values there in the community and in the day-to-day and on the field and off the field, what kind of individuals are you looking for to help you in this voyage?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, my personal, and when I build teams up, my 2 personal things are always access and respect, right? And those can have different meanings. So there'll be times where they'll have to make decisions and should make decisions on their own. And as long as that decision, generates the ability and the opportunity for players to have access, fans to have access, the player pipeline to have access, right? And all in a respectful manner, we're not going to go really too far wrong from those 2 compass points. But with that being said, those being some of our 2 core, values, in the sense that I build the team, and the values of the mission of the team is essentially, breaking the glass ceiling and creating an equal playing ground for all, male, women, the LGBTQ community, regardless. Like, that's the power of sports, is that it's an equal playing field, and all people care about is incredibly good human beings, qualified individuals, and are passionate and have a love for this game. And when you have that talent and that skill set, we will find the right seat for that individual. And I am about to unleash a bunch of positions for front of house, and then obviously our game day ops, like, starting next year. And it's just really, really cool. I don't think like I necessarily build the culture. I think we help collectively, our team, in selecting the right candidates, and then we build that culture that aligns with access and respect.
Christina Unkel, the president of the of Tampa Bay Sun FC version. Christina Unkel, hanging out with us down here 1v1. Man, when I say you're one of the busiest people around, you are one of the busiest people around, and you have full kudos to me. I mean, because look, I will show you this, and I know this won't translate well to the audio version, but this is kind of what I end up doing on a weekly basis.
Oh, man.
One of my 4 calendars. Literally, it is the wire-bound notebook. It is the big desk calendar that we used to have on our desks before things would kind of pollute our desks, plus the phone, plus the fridge. That's where I'm working and try to figure out which one of me I am during any one of my 4 calendars as you build things. And you're also in a league in USL-S that is once again ground up. You know, you're a first-year club in a first-year league. What's it like seeing all of these other parts of the map blend in to be something that USL and USL-S wants to be very, very special coming out of the blocks?
Yeah, I apparently like to do really hard things, I've noticed in my life, right? Like, let's just start at refereeing at the age of 10 years old. Who does that, by the way? But, startup companies to me are incredibly exciting. They're not for the faint of heart, and they're not for individuals who think they're coming in and, there's going to be a structure in the sense that you just do this and it's a 9 to 5 and you check, like you are all passionate, you are all in. So being able to do that from a startup of a professional club and truly the startup of the USL Super League, it's been a very big educational basis, but it's incredibly inspiring to say, many of the ownerships and the presidents and the GMs are able to create a league, having seen, we always kind of say first movers advantage, right? In the business side. The reality is we're technically third movers advantage, right? Here domestically. And we have the ability to take a look with, I sound old, with the technology and the access to the global world, right? But we're able to see what every other professional country and club is doing, and there's leagues that are doing out there, so that we're able to create a league that allows people to play club and country, because that's very unique to sport here in the United States, right? This is truly the global game that's been brought to the United States, so we got to respect that balance. So being able to be on the ground floor of creating the framework and the bones of a league that is just starting off has been incredible, because we've seen the right ways, we've seen the wrong ways, we've seen what could be better, we've seen unintended consequences, we've seen safety of players obviously being tantamount and critical, and something to safe sport or not safe sport, you know what I mean, sporting side of that. The safety and security of players, to be able to be in that forefront and be able to keep that while we're making our decisions and being deliberate and intentional has been incredible. Lots of education is pretty much what I do. Education about the league, education about our team, and then honestly still the education about the equity and the value of women in sports. To some, major companies, they're still not necessarily aware of where women's sports, and then specifically soccer, right? Everyone knows the big ones, the NFLs, the NHLs, the NBAs. And there's still a lot of education that needs to be had when we talk about corporate partnerships and investments, about where the place and the level of soccer is, and also the consumer, the viewer, and the fan feedback and fan base. So there's been lots of educations, and I am in the middle of making like 5 different corporate decks. So it's been fun.
All right. So last question for you before you get to tell everybody how they can keep track of everything down there in Tampa. Nick Alifi, who hosts our European programming, he had a question. Knowing who I was going to be talking, and he says, "Okay, when you are," and I'm broadening the question. He just gave me a basic here, but he says, "When you, team president Christina Unkel, are sitting where you are sitting on a game day, and there is a bad call that was to happen, say against the Sun." In a match that you are watching as a team president, how do you believe that you would handle seeing a concerning call in front of you, knowing that you have gone to the pocket sometimes or kept your hands away from the pockets, something that might have the referee Christina Unkel go into her pocket? It happens in front of team president Christina Unkel. How do you anticipate handling this situation?
I can tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not storming the field. During the game, post game, after the game, or trying to attack the VAR in a booth. I can confidently tell you I will not be doing that. That's a good question. I've actually, even picked my husband's raised head on it. I go, where would I sit? I wouldn't be near the bench. I wouldn't think. That's not probably the proper place for a president. You'd be with the corporate people talking to them, but like, I technically have never been able to be biased to a team. I'm the worst person to play soccer with, Because if the ball goes out and it's for the other team, I'm like, oh, it's their ball. Everyone's like, shut up, just take the ball and throw it in. And I'm like, like it's kind of hard to disassociate my brain from neutrals and facts. So I am very, very intrigued. I think if we have this conversation in spring of 2025, I will probably know better how I'm going to react. But I sadly, and I'm kind of also the most annoying person to watch a game with, because if you are, for example, I'm trying to think of the Man City fan, right? And you're sitting there like, how can that be? And I'm like, well, technically, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, shut up, I hate you. So like, it's kind of funny where I turned my friend who turned me into a Leeds fan before it was popular to be a Leeds fan as an American. He can't watch the game the same anymore because he's like, well, there's the deliberations and it's subjective and the consideration. So we'll see about that. Ask me in spring of 2025. I know I'm never going to be storming the fields. I know I'm going to respect the officials. I'll probably have a better appreciation as to why they missed the call. And then I will, as I always advocate on Twitter, there's an appropriate forum, place, and channel for clubs and players and coaches to take their grievances in the appropriate forums outside of the public specter to ensure that, any of those types of KMIs or key match incidents are properly taken care of.
And that is usually done at Festivus when you have the airing of grievances. That is the only time of year when you can do that. All right, for folks that want to keep an eye on what's going on, they're with you as you are now adding this to the dossier. How do folks keep an eye on what's going on with Tampa Bay?
Yeah, follow us on social media, Tampa Bay Sun FC, our website, tampabaysunfc.com, where if you are in the Tampa Bay area and or you want to come get some tickets, we got ticket deposits going on right now. Founding members, as you can imagine, how exciting that's going to be. And more so those who want to, rep and, present. We have merchandise on sale at tampabaysunfc.com. You can get some really cool swag. I can't wait to start creating some casual wear as well.
And I've seen it, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I know I'm getting that, and I'm getting that, and I'm getting that, and my wallet. And you're going to see literally my ATM card is going to start smoking from everything that's going on. At Christina Unkel on the 280 character app. Thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1. We'll be keeping an eye, and I will make an executive decision here at SDH. Christina, you have now been bestowed golden ticket status here at the network.
Ooh.
So if you feel anytime when we're live, 9 a.m. to 11:05 or 11 whenever, I want to crash the party and I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about and what's going on, you officially have golden ticket status and you can crash and vent your spleen at any time here on SDH. See?
Oh, I will. Be careful what you ask for. I might hit that golden ticket quite a bit.
Bring it. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch up soon.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it all.